Hey everybody, Adam here, and we're back with a little more vintage. Gonna jam the same Esper Tinker list we were jamming against 10 arms the other day. We're gonna run it through a league. Gonna see if maybe my ideology was a little flawed here, or if we just kind of broke a little bad, or if I played a little poorly. Some combination thereof, more likely, but we'll see what happens. Couple of quick disclaimers. Apologies for the kind of chaos that you see around. My wife and I are currently in the process of rearranging our apartment and dealing with some new furniture. So kind of a mess. I apologize. Second, I will have to step away for just a moment at some point. But it will be brief. I do apologize. Just something I'm going to have to take care of here in a little bit. But I still wanted to make sure that I got in here today and made up for yesterday. Unfortunately, I had a lot of personal errands to run and just wasn't able to stream as I had originally intended. So again, this is the same 75 for Esper Tinker that we jammed against 10 arms the other day. We have put our opposition agent main, we got ourselves a Hull Breacher, we don't have a Force of Negation, our 4th Fluster is in the side, and pretty much nothing else has changed from the list that we were jamming before. So, without any further ado, let's hop into a league. Uh-oh. That's right. Hey, stay tuned for a second. Give me just a moment. Sorry about that. I forgot that we had been kind of on a pretty bad streak and that we were out of tickets. But that's okay. We will go ahead and hop into that league now. I appreciate everyone joining today. A lot of ways you could spend your Sunday afternoon. I'm grateful you've chosen to hang out with me. Again, apologies for yesterday, as much as I wanted to play in the route tournament, between the time slot being moved and some personal errands excuse me, that I had to take care of. It just wasn't really viable for me to make that happen yesterday. I am sad, as that was the last one before the beta finals, but what are you gonna do? So we tried. But we will go ahead and play some vintage today to make up for it. We'll play first. I'm gonna keep opponent has Mox, Plains. Okay. Seems sick. Plains, Mox. Winner flip, let's go. An ancestral. Larissa hand. I'm not sure why opponent did that. If they played Arbiter, we were like pretty dead. Not dead, I guess, but not in great shape. Key. Opponent has died. Okay. Goodbye, Fluster. Goodbye, Sphinx. Balance. Plow. Plow. Ending. Fragmentize. Cut our dig. Don't think that's particularly the life I'm looking to live. Just run this. Sure. That's slightly annoying. We're gonna start by going to combat. Player mocks Sigo. Arbiter, sure. This is awkward, but I think I'm gonna do it. Mostly because I want to hit a land. Okay. Giver. Like, this is all very beatable. Especially with this already in hand. Arbiter's fine. Sure. Unfortunate. Yeah, if I just needed that fetch land to be any natural land, even Saga, and we just go ahead and balance, we're in pretty good shape. Not the circumstance we were looking for, but I think we'll be okay. This is of like medium to like pretty small value, but this has value. With givers and deafening silence and stuff like that. Honestly, so, and this is maybe a weird notion, but coming from like playing a lot of CEDH with friends and paper recently, it's kind of weird to me that as prevalent as Tinker and Breach are, this deck hasn't started playing some number of Drannith Magistrate. Because it just shuts off Tinker and Breach lines. Or Citadel and Breach lines. It's that whole avenue is just off. So it seems like a card that would be worth including. My opponent is thinking very hard about what they want to do with their life. Come on. Yeah, like a good number of opponent's creatures aren't super relevant. It's mostly the weird sideboard pieces they bring in that are kind of problematic. Deafening Silence, Stony, things like that. Okay. I'd love to play first. I'm gonna keep this. Pearl, top. Grab island. Spin top. Okay. Not a thing I particularly care about. Underground Sea. Cast Tutor. Grab my Tinker. Jeez. Seems about right. Okay. First hit, Fragmentize, with nothing in play to target. Let's go. That's okay. We can beat that. Play this. Cool. Relic Border is going to take away the Citadel. Okay. Caracas Giver. Nice. Opponent is very upset, I'm sure. Oh, sorry, give me one moment here. I'm going to mute real quick, everybody. So sorry about that, everybody. I have a delivery en route, so I needed to make sure to answer that call. I'm so sorry. All right. This is fine. So right now what we're looking for is Time Vault. Tinker would also do the job. Seems about right. Let's go. We're riding the lightning here with this Mana Crypt, but I think that we need to... We kind of needed it for... Oh, sick. Opponent's just going to concede. That's so good for me. I can say, honestly, I would not have conceded there if I was opponent. Like, I'm in good shape, but if I lose that Mana Crypt flip, I'm dead. So, I would not have conceded, but thanks to opponent for doing that. So we are currently up one match against Mono White. Feels good. I feel like that one is a matchup we like a lot because we can answer or ignore a lot of what they're doing. Like Deafening Silence and Tinker are not great, or Deafening Silence and Stony are not great, but definitely beatable. So we have options. All right. Again, apologies if you all hear my phone going off. Again, I am currently waiting on a delivery, so I need to be able to pay attention for that. That is why I will be stepping away at some point, is to take that delivery. But alright, we're up 1. We had some pretty decent hands. I think that we probably win that match in 2, in a whole host of different ways. It was a little unlucky that opponent had the Arbiter, and then we drew Fetch Land instead of any other mana-producing land. So, kind of sucks. Also, something I've kind of talked about, I guess, I've talked about with people outside of the stream before, but something to think about. I don't think that it's wrong if you looked at that matchup and looked at our sideboard and boarded in Tabernacle. You can slow them down quite a bit by playing Tabernacle, and I think that's totally reasonable. I don't, because I have some number of creatures that I can use to kind of muck with some of their stuff. So I do like the notion of just kind of being able to leave my creatures around, especially as a Saga deck, and not have to choke myself on mana for those. So, but I could totally understand if you looked at that Tabernacle and said, that's going to slow them down a fair bit, I'm in. So, yep, totally understandable. I would not fault anyone for boarding in that Tabernacle there. Alright. Seems to be a quiet Sunday in the leagues. But again, I appreciate everybody hanging out. Again, apologies for yesterday. Unfortunately, all of the normal everyday adult things I had to do took precedent over streaming. I do apologize. It's not that I don't love all of you, but I needed to make sure I could eat. So I had to go grocery shopping, and that was a whole process. So unfortunately, this time of year, every retail establishment starts to become a nightmare hellscape, because holidays. So that was unfortunate. All right, we lost the die roll. Is double queuing in a vintage qualifier? I don't hate this. I would be a really huge fan of drawing a second Mox here. Pearl would be the optimal. Pearl would be the optimal. Because Pearl would let us slam Lavinia or Op Agent. Whichever I think is more beneficial. Also, something I kind of talked about with Ten Arms a little bit, and I kind of haven't talked about on the stream. So, like, a lot of people thinking about Vintage will look at this hand and go, why are you keeping this? I'm keeping this because this hand is perfectly functional. Like, I have 2 Hatebears that are good in very different circumstances. I have some mana acceleration. I have a tutor if I need to do something busted myself. I have a cantrip to help me find other things. Sure, you can probe me. So, like, I just don't see a good reason to throw back a hand like this. And then this is what happens. Petal. Black, Dark Ritual. Tutor, sure. This feels like the spot where opponent goes for the stupid, what's its face? The 3-mana one with the activated ability. Drill Mox, okay. Imprint, another sea restoration. Okay, this is Undercity Informer. So we're looking for Plow. If we draw one of a Plow, opponent just like loses the game. Okay. Okay, what can we do here? Yep. Opponent got us. Okay, so cut Vamp, cut Mystical, cut Sphinx. Other things that I'm interested in. I think cut Dig. I don't think we're trying to live that life. I like these ley lines. And then I can see cutting this Yawgmoth's Will for the Fluster. I kind of want this Fluster. It's just how do I achieve this Fluster? Because Plow is probably the answer. Plow is only good in such a minimal number of circumstances. I think I would rather just try to fight this battle on the stack. This is also good because you can name Undercity Informer and Charbelcher. Let's go. This is not good enough. This is fine. Bottom mana crypts. So, word of warning, like, this Flusterstorm is, like, of minimal value. It does things. Tundra. Mox Pearl. Time Walk. I'm not sure what opponent is doing here as far as this pause. Like, again, a weird pausing. We'll see what happens. I guess opponent is double queuing, so like, sure. But also, eh. That's hot. Sapphire go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yup. I see. Okay. We need to hit Needle? Jesus. Is there anything here that we can do to do anything meaningful? No? We're just gonna die. Yuck. Yeah, so like this is the kind of garbage part. Yeah. Unfortunate. We needed something in that series of cards to be meaningful, and Ancestral, we knew it was drawing 2 lands, but we didn't know the third was also a land, which is pretty unfortunate. We will play first. Yep. Keep. I think the smart thing to do here would just be Pearl, Key, Academy, Time Walk. Alright. Yeah, that'll be the plan. Pearl, Key, Academy, Walk. This is also absolutely the kind of Time Walk you Force of Will, because it represents a lot of really scary things. It can just represent me killing. I'm thinking real hard about their mulligan choices. Like, if this gets misstepped, it's annoying, but not unbeatable. Opponent was last seen on 4-color stuff. 4-color... Yeah. The 4-color Planeswalker deck. That was 29 days ago. I mean, they feel like, on average, though, like, a vintage player playing something like that is likely to do it again. They had to think real hard about that. Mox Pearl. Manifold Key. Time Walk. That's fun. Island Mox. Are we on Merfolk? Could be Merfolk. I can just set up here. Mm-hmm. Brainstorm. I'm gonna grab Lotus here. And the reason being is actually kind of strange. We're gonna preordain here. Sure. Okay, so opponent is also on some sort of like Tinker blue pile, probably PO. If opponent is PO, I'm interested in Fluster. What else? Maybe Herx? Cut Vamp. Cut Mystical. Cut Sphinx. There's a series of other things here to consider. I don't hate having access to another plow for stuff like Hull Breacher. I really don't. Take a plow. Cut my... Not my dig, right? Gotta be... Maybe a Force of Will? Sure. Okay. That's even better. This is not a guarantee, right? Opponent, you get to look at my hand. It's a kind of a weird place to fetch, but like, okay. Hey, let's go. Pearl, okay. I'm just gonna sit and be patient. I'm sitting on a stack of interaction. Opponent doesn't have any pressure on me. Their own top. Mox, sure. Gross. What's opponent got going on here? Oh, opponent has their Tinker. Yikes. Odds are pretty high we die here. I'd say opponent would have to be kind of a lunatic to not cast it here. Citadel. That sucks. Why stop there? You have a fetch in play. What are you doing? Yeah, like, you have a fetch in play and a top. What are you doing? Dak. Okay. Four, sure. That's kind of a hot one, not gonna lie to you. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Activate Urza. Hurkyl's Recall. Sure, 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 sure. I mean, yeah. Okay. non-land. Okay. Opponent should be able to kill me here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. Opponent should be able to kill me here. I just want to make them see the line. Treasure, treasure, treasure. Mox jet. Sure. Okay. Mox, okay. 12, 13. We've taken 14 and died. Okay. So, that being the case, anything else that I'm in, like, I kind of want this Force Soul back, I'm not gonna lie. Like this better, get this Force back. Submit. Ruby. Top. Land, go. Like, I guess. Kind of figured. Magic Online, I'm not sure how you think I'm paying for this fluster, but I would love to if you would let me. Though there's no chance you should let me. Sure. Annoying, but okay. Mox should be on top. Okay. Saga's fine. And jam this Narset. Tick down. Grab balance. That resolves. Take this down. Time Walk. Ancestral Me. I am gonna make here, because I can just shut off my Saga with this. Okay. Side note, the fun thing with balance in Saga, with these disappearing lands, that make you're able to leverage this balance as a land destruction spell a little easier, which is pretty hot. Not gonna lie. Mox, sure. Sapphire, okay. I mean, that's really annoying, but, like, okay. Not really anything I'm doing about it. Opponent makes a Hull Breacher. Got it. Is this Hull Breacher at Narset? Yep. I would prefer not to do that. If it's all the same to you. Here's my Lavinia. Sure. Narset Parter avails. Okay. Like, I don't love it, but it's happening. Please cast Mox Emerald. Sick. Let's go. Okay. Gonna fetch here. Grab another Tundra. Just gonna pass. Let's see. Pyroblast, sure. Gonna Hercules you. Baby, look at us go. Dak Faden? Tinker, sure. Citadel from 7 is not exactly the kind of life you want to be living. Sure. Top. Okay. But we can't really go forever here. I mean, yeah, but okay. Not really sure why we're not doing that off of Saga here, but I guess. Time Walk, okay. That one has words on it. Spinning Urza here is a wild. 10 arms, hello? Spinning Urza here is a kind of insane notion. 10 arms, we're currently 1-1. Cruise, yeah, I mean, I guess. I'm not 100% sure what opponent is thinking with all of this. Attack opponent. This balance is actually going to be pretty clutch. There we go. That's exactly what we were waiting for. Oh, baby. Like, I'm willing to pop it now. Opponent can pay, right? Like, I'm aware of that. But opponent is committing a lot of resources at 1 with a fetch land in play to doing basically stone nothing. And we're not dead to this. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Is like, what are we waiting for in that scenario, right? Are we waiting for opponent to go make, go to kill you? Because I don't think that's a winning line. I think I'd rather just choke opponent off here. Like, they can't really do anything meaningful. That's such a weird way to choose to pay for that. You have a Soul Ring in play. I'm so very confused. 60. Oh, that's lethal. Yikes. Yeah, like... I don't think waiting on the balance does anything there for us. Because, like, what are they gonna do? Just make anyway. Do the thing. I think our best shot was to try to fight through this whole process now. Because if they don't have the force, which we didn't know for a fact that they had, if they don't have the force, the whole texture of the game shifts. And, like, sure, there's an argument to just not throw the fluster, but I think that there's an argument enough. I mean, I guess, right? Like, we can just hold our construct, let them make. See, I just don't know how good that is either, because all they need is, like, opponent has already shown us they're playing Biforce and a Braid. Oh, I mean, sure. Like, I get what you're saying there, right? But so, like, opponent has shown us Biforce, a Braid, Dak Faden. I think that our best advantage, our best shot, is to try to push our leverage then and there, and not let them have access to more tools. Because if they, like, just rip a Dak off the top, they slam Dak steal our thing, and beat us to death anyway, and then we died with cards that could have potentially won the game in hand. So I feel like the chances of us losing by just passing are higher than the chances of us losing by just going. Oh, I 100% agree. We definitely lose to Dak. I don't think that was a thing we were ever... Like, fundamentally, I like this. My point being, Tenor, is that we lose to Dak a lot less if that balance resolves. Like, if that balance resolves and then they Dak, we don't care. It just doesn't matter. This feels okay, and I don't hate it. We have a threat. We have some protection. This doesn't do anything yet, but is likely to. I think I like it. We just have to turn this on, which doesn't seem like a big ask. Like, this as a cantrip would be much, much better. Oh, I see, I would keep... Like, I actually don't hate this. I would like this a lot better as a cantrip, but I think that the tools that we have access to in this hand are all good. Sapphire, sure. Soul Ring, yep. Tellurian Academy, sure. Is this where we fluster? Opponent can't pay. Sick. This is where opponent just shows us they already had the Tinker too. That would be pretty upsetting, not gonna lie. Gross. They do. God damn it. This feels like when we weren't winning. Bolt. Top. Okay. We're very likely dead. I'll make opponent go through the motions. Okay, so opponent is PO specifically. Noted. Snapcaster, target, ancestral me. Yeah, gross. Probe. We'll save ancestral for when we can't cast spells. Deck. Sure. Yeah. Jesus. We're like very dead. Yikes. Okay. Fluster. Ending. Vamp. Mystical. This is again where I'm looking at things like balance, needle, fragmentize. This card feels like it's probably going to win us the game. And going to stonewall a boo all day long. We'll cut this. And then it's like, which one of these other white cards do I want? I'm going to take a balance just for leverage purposes. Five colors. I don't even have it in this. Don't have Witch in the main anymore. 10 arms. Sure. Oh, balance? Okay. I'd love to draw a Mox. Not a Mox, but... Binwedge, hello, welcome. It was a Miracle Bluff, yes. I have the Miracle Bluff set. Vintage does not use miracles. I just have it set generically. We're gonna need all this top. Sure. Yeah, I just have it set on my account generically. Because I feel like by doing that, it just conceals a series of information for no reason. Like, it gives opponent weird signals for no reason at all. Sensei's top. Yes, blue card we just drew was also fantastic. Like, this feels like a pretty incredible spot. Opponent feels like they're going to have a really hard time. For reasons like that. Alright. I mean, that's not the life we were trying to live, but okay. We have 4 of the 8 requisite mana to cast the Sphinx of the Steel Wind. So maybe that'll become relevant, like, eventually, I guess. Mystical Tutor, okay. Mystical for Ancestral. Opponent is going to upkeep Ancestral. My god. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can just Sphinx now. I like that a lot. Cast. Cast. Argan, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Blue. Black. White. So hello everybody, welcome. My name is Adam from Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are here today playing some vintage Esper Tinker. Yeah, let's go. Alright. For anyone curious, this is the deck list, except we are currently sideboarded out 1 Mystical Tutor, 1 Vampiric Tutor, and Bolas' Citadel. Ark and I have played Legacy in the past. We've played quite a bit of Legacy on the channel, in fact. I'm just not a huge fan of where Legacy's at the moment, obvious reasons. So I have opted to play Vintage, which I think is in a much better, much healthier at the moment. But yes, have played a lot of Legacy. I'm currently playing in a Heritage League through the Discord, so that has been awesome. But yes, definitely no stranger to Legacy in these parts. This hand feels like kind of ridiculously fair. I don't think that we can live this life given what opponent has shown us they're trying to do. I mean, I don't really like this any better, if I'm being honest. I'm going to keep it, but I'm not a fan of the whole notion. Mox Ruby, yup. Tellurian Academy. Ancestral and Upkeep. Yup, seems right. Okay. I think this hand is just going to lose on the notion of being far too fair. Okay. Opal resolves. Yeah, Narset's in. I'm going to fetch here for reasons involving Opposition Agent. I don't know that an opponent has that card in their deck, but I would rather not lose to it if I can avoid it. Are we getting our hulls breached? Hurkyl's Recall. I'm really not 100% sure why opponent did that, but okay. Activate Narset. Outcome. Okay. Red. Blue. Blue. Gross. This is awful. Jet. Sapphire. Opal. Like, we probably beat the next PO, which this feels like it is. Cool, I like that for us. I would like to draw another Fluster now to protect my Narset when I try to resolve it. That would be excellent. Opponent likely going to resolve their Narset here. That's fine. I agree. Now we just need to resolve this Narset. All I want to do in my entire existence right now is... Oh, gross. Well, that's... I mean, we have the thing, but I want to draw a fluster. Yuck. Ponder's fine. I just want to draw a fluster off the top. Never wanted anything so bad in my entire existence. Just draw fluster. Okay, not fluster, but I guess. Alright. Like, the odds that this Narset resolves are almost 0. Yeah, kind of figured. Okay. Pitching Force of Negation here is actually, like, kind of awful for us. Yeah. Opponent is just miles ahead in cards. Yeah, there's the Minskin Boo. Hate that a whole lot. Soul Ring. Saga, yup. We're in bad shape. Yeah, we just tap rocks. Correct. This Minskin Boo resolves. I mean, truth be told, I'm probably tapping Jet Saga over the Soul Ring, but, like, I think it's pretty minimal one way or another. Plus, on Boo. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can try to dig. We can try to dig. I have Fluster back. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is not a good position for us to be in. Okay. Okay. Take Mentor. Take Fluster. Alright, alright. God damn it. And this is opponent Mystical Tutor for Time Walk. A Mystical for Time Walk, plus Minskin Boo on the Boo token, attack us for 7, Time Walk. Oh. That's a weird thing for you to... K? I need an adult? Why did my opponent... I don't understand. I'm so very, very, very confused by that play. It's unfortunate because they're probably just going to win anyway, but... I can't beat this with this Fluster if I want to. There's no point in casting this Fluster Storm here. That's the Bolas' Citadel. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's 8. 9 with the Saga Construct. Okay. Karn the Great Creator. I wish you wouldn't. Holy crap. That's 99 levels of problematic. Mycosynthlatus. That's a game we just weren't winning. That is a game we just were not winning. Yikes. That hand looked like it was pretty good. An opponent just, like, got to windmill every haymaker. They had Karn, they had Narset, they had Minsc and Boo, they had multiple POs. Yuck. They had a Force of Negation for our Narset. Our dig was pretty unimpressive. Yikes. Well, hopefully we can 2-3, I guess. Yikes. I do appreciate everyone hanging out today, though. Thank you to all of you who came over from Arkenstream. It is greatly appreciated that you are all here. Again, my name is Adam from Grand Rapids, Michigan. On this channel, we play primarily Eternal Magic. So that's Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, Cube, things of that nature. So currently, obviously, we are playing an Esper Tinker list in Vintage. This list, a little different from kind of what's floating around. I'm on 2 Opposition Agent main, a Hull Breacher. I have access to a Balance in my sideboard. All things that I think are particularly useful in today's Vintage metagame. However, today we are having quite a rough run of it. So we 2-1'd Hatebears, and then lost to some Planeswalker piles and Grixis. Yeah, been a little unfortunate. Again, I think that some of this is pretty reasonably winnable. I think we broke a little bad there. Like, this game 3 was atrocious against our last opponent. Just getting to a position where it's like, okay, well, we can defend against some stuff, and then opponent's stuff is Minsc and Boo, Narset, Karn into immediately cast Mycosynthlatus, no less. When we were set up with Flusters and things like that, but not ready to beat a Planeswalker or a big dumb artifact. So that's unfortunate. I guess I removed the copy of Force of Negation that was in this list when I originally found it. Actually, I removed 2 copies of Force of Negation. But looking at it now, with people shifting back to these Planeswalker piles, I think that it's about high time I start looking at Force of Negation in the deck again, just as a way to answer things like Karn, things like Minsc and Boo. Like, we have some ways to deal with them once they hit, but, like, in that circumstance, even if we were able to remove Karn, the damage was kind of already done. My apologies, everyone. I had been waiting on a delivery that I needed to go sign for, and that was my delivery. So I'm so sorry for that, but we will get right back into it here and get into round 5, see if we can salvage this as a 2-3. Again, I appreciate everybody hanging out today. A lot of ways you could choose to spend your Sunday. Though, given that many of you are from Arkin's channel, I don't know what it's like for you right now, but it is just after 5:30 p.m. here for me. So, again, your evening time, greatly appreciated. For those of you in rural America, yes, we do in fact, in the city, get deliveries with signature confirmation on Sundays. It is quite a party. So I had to go sign for a delivery real quick. I appreciate all of you who stuck around. We will get into our round 5 now. I definitely notice, I definitely am familiar with some of you. I see some names out there in the chat I recognize from being in chat with some of you in other channels. HC Foxhole, and welcome. Good to see you, friend. It has been a while. Punishing Waterfalls, hello. Always nice to see you as well. You are the only two I recognize off the top of my head. But I would say that two of you coming from someone else's channel, not bad. Again, for those of you who are new to the channel, on this channel we play primarily Eternal Magic. This means Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, Cube, things like that. Lately, primarily Legacy and mostly Esper Tinker. I am a big fan of a deck that can do something busted, but also interact with all of the other busted nonsense. So definitely a fan of a deck like this. If you are curious, this is the 75 we are playing. Of course, I flip over. Oh, funny smells. Alright. I will keep... I also agree. I remember once upon a time when you could play a lot more of the same kinds of cards between the two formats. Okay. I see what we're doing here. Maybe I don't. That is an ignoble hierarch. Cast this. Cast this. Cast this Tinker. Sack this Soul Ring. Get a Citadel. Put this land into play. Cast this Monastery Mentor. Nice. Hell yeah, let's go. Alright, so, opponent went, once upon a time, Bayou Ignoble Hierarch. So opponent could be any number of things. I suspect that they are at least Jund colors. Maybe they are blue, though once upon a time leads me to believe that that is less likely. So with that being the case, I think that I will cut Flusterstorms. I will bring in Balance, Ending, and a Plow. I think that I can ignore Bolus's Citadel to get my other Plow in here and call that a day. Well, this is a high roll hand if I've ever seen one. I'm gonna mulligan on the sole basis, like, this hand is nuts. But opponent has kept 7, and if they go turn 1, Collector Oof, go, I lose. I just lose. Or Null Rod. As such, I'm going to mulligan this hand. We're going to mulligan again. I'm going to keep. I don't think we're in the business of Saga. I will put back Misty. Sure, opponent has a Lotus on one. That seems great for us. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? It's like I knew or something. Higher art, sure. I don't want any of these cards. Opponent attacks for 3 with oof, sure. Deathrite Shaman, fine. Come on. Okay. Okay, so opponent is on lizards. Which, opponent being on lizards, pretty easy to figure out. We knew that they were doing something of the sort with the Once Upon a Times. Speak of the Devil. I think I'd rather them not, because this helps them find Bazaar. I'm okay with a Rootwalla. Take 3, go to 10. We're not in great shape here, I'm not gonna lie to you. The one card in opponent's hand is Backup Collector Roof. 2, 3, 4. So what do we do here? We're just dead. Like, the lines we would have to take would involve, like, land, balance as 3 draws in a row. We would want them to be fetch land, balance in that order. And we're just dead in the meantime. As such, I think I would like this Tabernacle and a Pithing Needle. I think I'm going to cut. What am I cutting here? This is actually good. I like Misstep in this matchup quite a bit. I don't hate these opposition agents because they just block. I'm gonna cut the dig through time. I don't think I have time to mess around with trying goofy Yogwill lines. We're just gonna go that route. One, two, three, 4, 5. Go to 8. Have to draw Mox. Hate that. Of course, they just have Misstep. Sick. Take this stop off. Black Lotus, delightful, good. I'm sure that's fine. Green, green, green. Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman. Wasteland. Alright. I want them to extend into this further. Bonus points if they decide to wasteland my Tundra. That's so good. That is exactly what we were hoping for. We wanted them to spend that wasteland. That's fine. Not great, but fine. Okay. Mm-hmm. They get to keep 2 of these 3 creatures. Okay. Okay. Tabernacle's down. So, as a heads up, I knew that this was an option. Our game plan here is to end step Vamp. Petal? Sure. Underground Sea. Vamp Tutor. Balance. Losing 2 lands is not awesome here, I'm not gonna lie, but I think we're in a position where we kind of gotta do what we gotta do. I want to keep them as low resources as possible, and the longer they have that Deathrite Shaman, the worse it gets for me. Sick. Cycle Hollow one. Ending would have been fine. Also thought about Plow. Chalice on 0, sure. Ignoble Hierarch. The idea here is that now they're spewing resources, and I want to keep them kind of doing that and as little as possible for as long as possible. So by using the balance, they don't know what all we have access to. I'm gonna start with Needle on Wasteland. I want to protect this Tundra. This one name's Bazaar Baghdad. That's fine. Go ahead and fire that. Opponent cast a Once Upon a Time. Thanks, I hate it. Them funding exactly strip mine there really sucks. Okay. 4 series good. Not exactly as nuts as we'd like it to be, but 4 series good. That's not a thing that I care about. Taiga, sure. Working our way there. Nope. That one's not good now. Once upon a time. So there's two ways this plays out, and neither one of them is spectacular for us. Yep, Tundra. They're gonna take the one on Bazaar. I feel better about them taking the one on Bazaar than I would them taking the one on Wasteland. Also, as an aside, 10 arms, this is another reason no ending. I want to keep my more flexible answers in the deck if I have the option. Lizard. Idiot for Vengevine. Okay. This is where things start going south. One. Tundra. I mean, fair, yes. Plow was probably a more reasonable call there. Again, the idea was to try to keep them spewing resources. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Tundra. 1, 2, 3. I should have another Tundra in my deck? Oh, it got exiled to Deathrite Shaman. Okay, well that's unfortunate. That's gonna be a big deal. That sucks. This is where we likely die. All right. Hate everything about that. But I don't think we win this game if we don't do it. I think we're pretty dead anyway. Yikes. Well, okay. That's unfortunate. Yeah, 10 arms, like, so, again, the notion there was that I wanted to use balance to try to get them to spew resources if they had things in hand like once or free spells of some kind, right? I wanted to try to get them to spew resources to fight this low resource battle. That was the game plan. Because at the time, from the board state that I was looking at, like, we rip something like a Tinker or whatever, right? If we can start leveraging our dumb restricted cards, the likelihood that we take that game over was fairly high. So my notion was that instead of getting Plow, we get Balance, try to get them to spew cards. Try to get them to set up in a position where they're just hellbent constantly. And then go ahead and leverage that to turn around and do something busted. However, it shaped up the other direction where they had a Chalice that shut off all our Moxes, which was atrocious. They went ahead, they found a strip mine. On a random once, they found a strip mine, which was very bad for us. And we never got to turn around and do the busted thing. Which, again, I feel like the odds were well enough that we got to do. But it is what it is, I suppose. Yeah, and then I had miscounted thinking that that land was going to fetch us something. Forgetting that Deathrite Shaman had already exiled the Tundra. Because Deathrite Shaman had exiled the Tundra, that land didn't get anything. So in order to get anywhere, we needed to then find Saga. Which, again, we're talking playing odds here, and like the odds of finding Saga when we're doing Stone Nothing is pretty... Potentially, yes. So the Sphinx we had to get to, which was a big deal. And the Sphinx we had to get to around what was going on. So the Saga that we had ended up finding the needle for the Wasteland, and then we went ahead and found a second needle that named Bazaar. We drew a second needle that named Bazaar, right? So the chances that we hit a couple of Saga constructs and start going somewhere, okay, not awful. But that game changes entirely if opponent is allowed just unfettered whatever. And my whole game plan was to try to restrict them as much as possible. To get them to spew cards to go ahead and leverage the dumb busted things we can do. To leverage our Sagas, to leverage our Tinker, things like that. The problem was that we never got ourselves into a position where we were able to leverage a Saga, or leverage Tinker, or leverage Mentor, or anything to that effect. We just it never turned around to that capacity. We had tons of draw steps to find something like Preordain, Brainstorm, something to go ahead and try to clear up what was going on, to get the Sphinx back into the deck for Tinker purposes, to go ahead and try to find ourselves a Saga to start applying pressure that way. We had a lot of outs to start playing towards from that low resource game. But instead, we bricked off and drew Mox, uncastable Narset, that we ended up pitching to a force. We ended up having to pitch our Sphinx to a force to try to survive another turn. We never got the ability to leverage that position where we can play from a low resource game pretty well, because we're playing all of these undercosted restricted cards. Or cards... We had options. Those options never manifested like I was playing towards. And again, I understand that, like, yeah, we could have vamped for Plow and plowed the thing. And that line is totally fine. And honestly, the way that the game shaped up, that line was correct. But what I was trying to do was something entirely different. What I was trying to do was get opponent to commit to constantly spewing their hand. One, not respecting the notion of Chalice. Not thinking their opponent was just randomly going to have Chalice and Chalice Zero and, like, shut out a lot of draw steps that way. Also, not considering the fact that we were just going to brick off. Like, our opponent rips Chalice. Chalice is 0. shuts off that whole notion. We answered threat after threat after threat. Yeah, like the Chalice draw is what really lost us that game. Like, straight up. Because the thing is that if we get to dump those 2 Moxes, then we get to start, like, that saga that we didn't get to do anything with. Oh, no, I totally get it. So I would much rather, like, have this conversation and explain the methodology, because the thing is that I think that there are a lot of ways to look at that, right? And so, like, your first instinct was end it, which is a totally fine thing on surface level. But my notion was, I want to play around them having some non-creature permanent, and I want the ability to have ending for that thing, like the Chalice. That's, again, if we were in a position where we drew ending throughout any of that period, we ending away the Chalice, and then turn on our Moxes, and then start to get to leverage things that way. There was a whole series of other options that opens up playing, again, not for ending, which was the original notion, which was your original thought. So, okay, then we revised that and we said, okay, why not play towards Plow? And again, the way that game shaped up, Plow is 100% correct. Like, absolutely. And I totally understand the notion of going, oh yeah. And so, I totally get the notion there for going for Plow. But in my head, what I'm thinking is, okay, how many free spells does this deck have? The answer is not, or how many spells that they could cast in response to this balance. Because kind of my whole notion, honestly, was that if they had a couple of cheap spells, right? If they're playing a Noxious, if they have Once Upon a Time in their hand, if they're able to kind of spew some of this pretty quickly, like, I could reasonably see a world in which opponent's plan is, you know, okay, I have a Noxious, this thing back on top of my deck, and then once, you know, grab the lizard, right? Discard the lizard to balance, put it in play. Like, that was a series of events that is a pretty reasonable line. Again, assuming our opponent has something like Noxious in their deck. Which is not a guarantee, but exists. So we start playing around this notion where, okay, in response to balance, opponent spews their hand. We discard our Sphinx, go Hellbent. At that point, a low resource game, I think, favors us. Because all we need to do is just be like, okay, Tinker, or I guess in that situation where our Sphinx is in our graveyard, we're going to start looking for lines involving Lotus and Yogg-Will. And that's all we need. That, like, we just start looking to leverage all of our dumb, undercosted, restricted cards that opponent isn't playing because they registered a non-blue deck. So we go to turn around and go, okay, Lotus, Yogg-Will, replay Lotus, start going ham out of the yard, and rebuild that way. And so that's a resource that opponent didn't have access to, especially after we had already shut off Wasteland so that they couldn't take out any more of our mana other than the one of random strip mine, or the Chalice, right? Like, we can just start leveraging that way. We shut off their Bazaar so they can't start doing their whole graveyard spiel. So the whole thought there was trying to play, and arguably, it's a niche situation, right? Like, what I was aiming for in that situation was, like, not, like, the highest possibility on the face of the earth, but my thought process is that if it is not unreasonable to expect that opponent has, again, things like Once, Noxious, what have you, to go ahead and try to leverage stuff like that. And if they do spew in response to balance, thinking that they can go ahead and turn around, leverage, you know, putting a Root Wallet into play off of a balance discard, then we're in a position where we're just trying to set up lines involving, again, Yogg-Will, Lotus, things like that. And the Lotus is something that we can just make happen. we can just slam a Saga, do a little bit of dirtling around, put the Lotus into play, Yogg Will back, go through the whole motion. And we even get some of our lands back from the Yogg Will, which is at that point their wastelands are shut off. They don't have access to their strip mine anymore, so we can start turning the game around out of the graveyard, which we have then shut off because of the Needle-on Bazaar. So that was the whole notion. Again, maybe a little niche, maybe playing a little too deep, looking to try to set up something, but the way that I saw the game state unfolding, my thought process was that I wanted to try to engineer a low resource game, because our deck has the ability to do a lot from very low resources. So if I'm able to force us into this low resource game, fantastic. Like, let's go for it. Unfortunately, the plan didn't shape up because opponents' low resources were things like Chalice of the Void, which shut off some of the advantage we would have had from being able to just cast our Moxes out, again, cast a Lotus to go for Yogg Will lines, all this kind of stuff. So, again, I entirely get what you're saying, Tenarms. I absolutely think that the way that the game shaped up, Plow was a much, much better Vamp target than the balance I got. However, I stand by my line. I had a plan. I had a whole idea going into that to try to engineer a game state that was favorable for me. Unfortunately, the game state didn't unfold in the circumstances that I needed it to be able to leverage what I had done. So, but anyway, that's it for me for the evening, everybody. I really appreciate you all being here. I will be back again Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time here in the US. And then again on probably Saturday. TBD. Stay tuned. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter. I post all of the weekly announcements for when we're going live, kind of what we're doing. All of it gets posted there, so please feel free to give me a follow there if you like what you saw today. Of course, Senims, thank you for being here. But yeah, we will definitely be back at it again next week. We will 100% be playing some Vintage, and what else from there, who knows? Unfortunately, we missed out on the last Saturday Route TCG Beta Testers tournament, but we have the Beta Testers Finals coming up here in the near future, and that just means we get to play some more Magic or something like that, so should be a good time. In the meantime, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I am going to go grab some dinner. Cheers, everyone. Have a good night.